All right, my AP World Civ grinders. This is probably who you didn't want to hear from, Mr. Davis, with kind of our Sunday night update of what's going on for this week coming ahead. So there's this. Hopefully, is only like a 3-minute video, so please watch it if you can. So the Friday was huge news. One thing Friday regarding Brossart and Kentucky is we will not be back to school until April 20th, which is, if I get my calendar up here, April now in spring. Woot woot. So April 20th is a Monday. So we are back a month from now. Hopefully, God willing, we're back and everybody's safe. Hopefully, you guys are all safe and healthy right now. So that was a big news for you, for our class in general. They came out and said that there's going to be an AP World Civ test on this year on world history and all these different subjects, but it was a big game changer of what they decided to do. They haven't finalized anything, but it's going to be an at-home 45-minute test, opposed to, in the past, it's always been basically a 3-section, 3-hour, 15-minute test. Now it's going to be 45 minutes at your house, which is pretty crazy. Not knowing how they're going to do it, but it's going to be online. They hinted that there will not be multiple choice. I don't know if they think that there could be cheating involved in multiple choice, but it's going to be some type of free writing. Me and several other teachers theorized it might be a lot of short answer questions. Could be one longer essay, but 45 minutes, everything we've been working towards with the DBQ, looks like that can't happen because a DBQ is at a minimum of an hour. And I just don't know how they would work it out. They did say April 3rd they were going to let us know. The other really good news, positive for us, is they are stopping it where we stopped. They're stopping it at Unit 6. So everything we covered so far this year, that's it. There's no new information. So what I plan on doing is really hammering home some topics we missed on Unit 6. We went too fast over, possibly. So going through those, and then I plan on reviewing. I do put a disclaimer in tonight's homework assignment that we will cover World War I, World War II, Cold War, War on Terror. I think that's, this is a class for college credit, but it is a history class. And I don't think you can leave world history without talking about those. But that being said, we are trying to use our time wisely so that you are prepared for this test. Once we get some little bit more guidance on how exactly this is going to work, we are going to start working on the skills that we need. But I think this can be a really positive game changer. It significantly cuts down the amount of content that could be on it. And it also is going to really give us a narrow scope of what we need to work on. It is still going to be hard, and you're still going to be judged against other high school students. But this is, what you put into the class is what you're going to get out of it. So that's it. No, like Mr. Davis content lectures or anything today. So your Monday's instructions. So this week we would be having a reading quiz if it was a normal week. So we're going to have a reading quiz at home. So obviously you have your resources to do. You always do good on these quizzes. I would challenge yourself to do it without the book and don't kind of cheat when you get the Google form on Friday. So, and don't give each other the answers, the random answers anyhow. So I can change studies. But so this is the pages 844 to 859. So about a 15 to 16 thing of pages, which you should be reading already anyhow. So if this was a class, if we were in the class, I'd give you 10 minutes to read. Next up, after you get done with those 10 minutes, I would like you to go back and review the positive outcomes of colonizing to the colonized. And what I mean is, I thought it was a tough prompt, and it asked you, what was beneficial to the African people who were colonized? What did they get out of the colonization period? I thought that was tough because mostly they were exploited. But this reading that I give you below talks about religion and education benefiting the people in some ways, but not too many ways. But it is a way that you can say, oh, well, there are a little bit of good things that came out of the imperialism in Africa. Your last set should take about 20 minutes. The last part of today's class is watch the spend 15 minutes on watching Heimler's history video. 6.5 and answering the questions. So that should take you about 15 minutes. This page is due tomorrow at 9. So you just simply go to File, make a copy. You could say Claire Bear Week 2 non-traditional instruction, hit OK, and then make your own copy, and then just submit this back. Try to do a good job of making sure there is an assignment up on Google Classroom. Please be advised that you should be reading on your own. AP World History will take you about an hour per day, probably. Maybe a little, Friday you have the weekend, so the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. I know some classes will be easier, some classes are going to be harder, like I said, but this is an AP class, so we expect a lot out of you. I expect a lot out of myself, so it's a challenge. So good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I'll try to make sure everything's explanatory on the internet, and we're good to go.